announcing the last chance to dodge the oil curse. The EU's objection to Uganda's oil pipeline represents the golden opportunity to halt the exploitation from this pipeline, one that is designed to enrich France while keeping Uganda poor. It is time to focus on building the best alternative, a local refinery. Here are the two reasons why. Number one, the oil refinery guarantees up to 90% less damage to the environment of both Uganda and Tanzania than the EACOP pipeline. Number two, the refinery guarantees up to 70 times more revenue for Uganda from its own oil than the revenue Uganda will get from exporting crude oil abroad through the EACOP pipeline. There are those who are pretending that the pipeline will develop the Ugandan economy and bring jobs, when in reality they do not declare the huge 4,000% profit difference between the small $15 we get from each barrel of crude oil exported abroad versus the big $700 Uganda gets from each barrel of oil we refine ourselves. The mathematical difference is phenomenal. Let's check why. On average, one barrel of crude oil is 159 liters. It will produce 73 liters of petrol, 35 liters of diesel, 20 liters of jet fuel, 6 liters of propane, 34 liters of other products like butane, asphalt, so on, and 1 kilogram of sulfur. If you check the retail price of all these products together, you will find that just one barrel of refined oil produces up to $700 from these added value products. Now compare that to just $78, today's international price of oil per barrel. Then if we add the fact that from these $78 total, the company will get 70% of that revenue, which is $54.6, and Tanzania charges $12 as transit tax per barrel of crude oil. That leaves Uganda with a poor $11 per barrel of its own oil. How brain dead does one have to be not to see the difference? Do we want just $11 from each barrel of crude oil, or do we want our whole $700 from the same barrel of oil? If so, then why are we taking the $11 and just giving away the $700 to France? Who is the poor country here between the two? Clearly, even in legal anti-corruption terms, the pipeline is causing a big financial loss to Uganda. We are squandering billions of dollars in the least productive EACOP option. And the only individuals who are remaining excited about the pipeline are the few who are getting contracts in the project, while the rest of the nation will not see any national development from oil revenues. No improved government services, no better education, and no improved health facilities or government investment in new world-class infrastructure projects around the country, like the Gulf countries. I remember when I first raised this issue in the Independent magazine about 3 years ago, sparking a huge debate in civil society. The Uganda Petroleum Authority first started mocking me on Twitter to cover for their corruption, probably. As the saying goes, smear is the last resort of scoundrels. So I put down the indisputable numbers, and the Minister of Energy suddenly came out saying publicly that all the oil revenue is for repaying loans, meaning nobody will see any huge nationwide development from oil as the people had been made to expect. The poor will remain poor, while a few individuals will be driving the latest Range Rovers and living in huge lavish Hollywood-style mansions next to the poor, exactly like in Nigeria, which remains the world's best example of a country wallowing in the oil curse. Lastly, with the French company Total claiming to be investing over $10 billion to start production, do not even think for 1 second that this is some charitable donation to poor Ugandans to celebrate. This is money which Total intends to recover even before Uganda gets its share from the crude oil sales. We are not only paying them to extract our oil for us, we are also paying them to profit from our oil 70 times more than us. This is either madness, stupidity, or both. Definitely nothing for any Ugandan to celebrate. It is now even clearer that the cost of extracting the crude oil from the ground and getting it to the volatile international oil market exceeds the revenue that Uganda will be making from its entire oil reserves. That is without even counting all the loans that the last 3 parliaments of Uganda have already been taking on behalf of the people, in the people's name, against future oil revenue as collateral. All the financial indiscipline we are hearing about today in Parliament is money that the government has received as loans, where Uganda's future oil revenue is the collateral. Yet this comparative analysis of the best project options is what the Ministry of Energy and the Ministry of Economic Planning should have first calculated from the start, and then taken the appropriate final decision. But where were they? For the historical perspective, it is because of this that we should never have touched the meager oil deposits found in this country. That is the difficult decision that the Amin government had to take back in the 70s after the assessment by professional consultants from Saudi Arabia. The cost of a barrel of oil was even lower back then, meaning it was just a clear loss to even touch the oil, because extracting it and getting it to the international market was more expensive per barrel than the price of a barrel of oil on the international market. The oil reserves are too small to cover the huge investment required to get the oil. Therefore, the only real beneficiary will be the owners of the refineries in France, because we don't have one ready yet. But now that the decision to extract the oil has been taken, the country should have focused on making the most of it and refining the oil locally ourselves, as this is the only way to best mitigate the mistake of extracting the oil in the first place. It is for this reason that I hereby declare that there must be a major corruption fraud going on in broad daylight against the people of Uganda on this oil. There is no way this ECOP could have been approved if we applied logic. The people of Uganda around the country will leave empty-handed from this whole adventure. And as the saying goes, it is going to end in tears for this country as a select handful celebrate. That is exactly what an oil curse is, unless we use the EU's objection of the pipeline to now focus on the refinery. Thank you.